Good morning, my dear students. I'm Miss Tania Poveda, and this is Entrepreneurship. Okay, guys, I have a question for you. Yes or no question. Do you recognize this logo? You do? That's great. If you don't worry. But the thing is, how can we recognize something that we don't use, probably that we don't have, that we don't need? How is it possible that people like you and I can recognize and probably even like something like this? Have you ever thought, how is that possible that we can have that in our heads and immediately I show you the logo, you say, yeah, of course I know it. Or who doesn't know it, right? Well, this class is going to be to understand how it works. So today, we're going to listen to Brad Jandrew, Marketing Director of Harley-Davidson, explaining a little bit about this brand. Are you ready? Okay, let's pay attention. After this, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm sure that you are going to know the answer. You ready? Here we go.
When you ride a motorcycle, you experience the world around you, I think, in a lot more vivid way. You feel more alive when you're on your bike. It is such an expression of personal identity. It's about that individual expressing their individual personality, their style. And I think that passion, that sense of freedom is really what the brand is about and has been there right from the beginning. When you buy a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, you really are buying a lifestyle. The purchase cycle didn't end when you bought the bike. That was really the beginning of your experience with the brand. Willie G. Davidson famously said, "We ride with you." So, it created these families, these connections, because you start talking about freedom and independence. Well, that cuts across all socioeconomic, demographic boundaries and classifications. It can bring people together. So it's a pretty remarkable power that the brand has in that way. The brand has remained true to what it stands for throughout all the ups and downs, and it's so genuine and authentic, and I think that's why it's been around for more than 100 years.
All right. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed that video. It's really interesting because he used some keywords that we are going to use in our class today. So according to this introduction, according to the video, what do you think we are going to talk about today? Marketing mix, product launching, or positioning strategy? A, B, or C? If your answer was C, positioning strategy, you're right. That's what we're going to talk about today, positioning strategy. So to start, what is positioning? Any idea? Yeah, it comes from the word position. You're right. It's your place. In this case, your place in the market. But before I continue explaining about that, there is a key word that we need. Perception. This is a word that we're going to use right now. So by now we have positioning and perception, two words that we are going to keep in mind during this class. And if you're interested in studying marketing, those two words are going to be extremely important. So here in this picture, we have two people facing each other, observing the same object on the floor. For one person, is number 6. For the other person, is number 9. The interesting thing here is that it's the same object, but what is happening is that they are looking the same object in a different way, from a different position. So that is perception. Perception is a process by which the brain codifies and organizes sensory impulses. By sensory, we talk about, for example, in this case, the sight, their eyes, the way they are looking at this object. So that code, it's organized according to your position, to your perception. How you perceive things is going to be extremely important to take decisions. Extremely important, all right? So remember that. Well, when talk about positioning, in this case in marketing, we're not talking about product positioning. And pay attention, I say we are not talking about product positioning. We're talking about brand positioning. Brand, the name of a company, the name of a product, the brand. There are 3 things that we must remember when talking about positioning. 1, the positioning concept is widely misunderstood. Some people confuse this concept. People have learned the definition of it and forget the steps required to achieve and sustain positioning. Sometimes we're so used to this word that we actually forget what is behind all this positioning process. So it's very important that when you work in marketing or in an entrepreneurial project to remember that behind all your decisions, there's going to be lots of steps and a huge, long process. How to do positioning is difficult to comprehend. It's even more difficult to apply on the brand. Sometimes we have too many difficulties to understand basics. Sometimes it's kind of hard to understand how positioning works. Well, once we understand it, it's going to be easier and you're going to get better results. If you'll use your common sense, you'll be lost. We are not talking about common sense. On the other hand, if you use your marketing sense, you'll be on the right track. So remember that we're talking about positioning or brand positioning. Next class, we're going to talk about strategies. This is only the introduction about strategies, position strategy, okay? So remember, if you are working in businesses, what you require is marketing sense. All right, so do you remember I asked you to keep this word in your mind, perception? Okay, in this case, perception of the brand. I want you to look here on the right, it says category, right? If I say a brand, you're probably going to tell me, oh, it's this or that. For example, if I say Coca-Cola, what comes to your mind? Probably in your mind you have, it is a drink, it is sweet, the brand has red and white colors. That is a way to give a category to a product. What if I say, for example, iPhone? iPhone, what comes to your mind? Yeah, it's a cell phone, technology, expensive. Very good. So no matter what your answer was, all the answers were correct because you're giving me an answer based on your perception of the brand, your own perception. And here I have an example. In United States, when you ask people what is the car or the brand that you consider the safest, most of people are going to say Volvo. Because Volvo made a big campaign promoting these cars as the safest cars in United States. So if you want to be safe, if you want your family to be safe, they are going to recommend you to buy Volvo. Or probably when you grow up, you say, okay, I want the safest car for me and my family. Okay, so go and get a Volvo. So that is the idea, the perception of people about this brand. But it's not just because. It is because behind that, there was a big campaign promoting Volvo as the safest car. So going back to this presentation, there was a big process, a whole process behind that perception, behind that concept about Volvo. So when talking about Volvo, the positioning of Volvo is safety. It's not a speed, it's not a driving, it's not luxury. All right, so here she's asking, what if the competitor wants to develop the same positioning, in this case, safety? So let's suppose that, you know, Volvo is a big car producer. So what about if other car producer wants to develop the same positioning strategy about safety? Well, the key word here, the other key word is rule of thumb. We talk about competitor differentiation. When we talk about competitor, differentiation comes in. So the third keyword is differentiation. So by now we have 3 keywords. Do you remember the 2 first? Yes, positioning. What else? Perception, very good. And differentiation. Congratulations, we're learning a lot. And we continue. Remember this word, differentiation. So what is differentiation? Competitor is engaged through differentiation. So when you go and buy something, when you need something or when you want something, probably there is a brand that you prefer, right? Right now in the market, there are different brands for same products, but you like or you choose one brand only for one special thing. That special thing is called differentiation. All right, so going back to the class today, what is positioning? Positioning is to differentiate the brand. To differentiate the brand. That is positioning. It means you have similar products, but what is going to be in the head of people, in their minds, is going to be the differentiation. So that is positioning, is to differentiate the brand. All right? That means the perception of competitors' brand has to be different from the perception of our brand. Yes or no? What do you think? You're right. Yes. If our competitors, in this case, cars, if our competitors' brand positioning is safety, we have to choose different positioning, like luxury or speed. All right. So what did other brands do to differentiate their products? They have similar products. So Volvo chose safety. Ferrari is known for being a speed car, so they chose speed. BMW is famous because it's good at driving. It means it's really comfortable to drive a BMW. It's easy and comfortable. And Lexus chose luxury. So it depends on what people want, and pay attention to this because they are working with wants, they are not working with needs. They chose different things, so they have different markets, different possible clients. People who want speed, they're going to get Ferrari. People who like luxury are going to choose Lexus. People that prefer being comfortable, they're going for BMW. And people who prefer safety, they're going to choose Volvo. All right? Well, so to summarize this presentation, let's remember these two things. One, positioning is what you do to the consumer's mind, not to the product. You see? Remember that in the beginning I told you we're not going to talk about product positioning. We're talking about brand positioning. It means the position of the brand in your head, in your brain. And two, it is a process to cope with major competitors. All right? So it means you have to adapt your product and also to find something different with competitors that you can promote about your product so people will like it or choose it better. All right. So next class, we're going to talk about this like deeper. Right now, it's just like an introduction about brand promise. So they can focus on the personality, symbolic cues, self-expensive benefits, functional benefits, emotional benefits, or heritage. But this is just a little bit of next class. So far, we're done for today. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed this class. And remember the 3 key words: positioning, perception, and differentiation. All right, remember those 3 words: positioning, perception, and differentiation. So that's it for today. Thank you again for your attention. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Remember to be safe, wash your hands, take care of your family, stay home, guys. Okay, bye-bye.